And the roaring Rocky sucks chants could be a huge distraction for The Rock. The bell rings. This match is officially underway for the Intercontinental Championship, with The Rock, 6'5", 275, has the weight advantage over Ken Shamrock. But, you know, with Ken Shamrock and his capabilities, it might not mean too much, with Ken Shamrock being one of the most dangerous men in the world. Ken Shamrock with that MMA background. He's as dangerous as they get. And The Rock saying that Ken Shamrock is a one-dimensional, submission hold only athlete. But the thing is, those submission holds are extremely dangerous. Ken Shamrock is one heck of a heavy hitter. And it's going to be tough. This is going to be a tough one to call. Oh, The Rock went for a cheap shot, but that quickness of Ken Shamrock able to get him out of the corner. He has The Rock scouted. The Rock looking to leave as the Intercontinental Champion. Ken Shamrock is very well aware of what The Rock is all about. The Rock, a third-generation superstar here in the World Wrestling Federation. His father, Rocky Johnson. His grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia. It's in the blood of The Rock to become greatness. But will The Rock prove that he is destined of that greatness by defeating Ken Shamrock to become the Intercontinental Champion? And Ken Shamrock regarded as one of the greatest Ultimate Fighters of all time. Ken Shamrock is dangerous. And now with these rights from The Rock. One for back elbow. The Rock ducked. And again, The Rock ducking. But wasn't able to duck that kick from Shamrock. And Shamrock, with a wicked right, sends The Rock to the outside onto the floor. These Rocky suck chants, like I mentioned earlier, may be causing the distraction that will perhaps play into the favor of Ken Shamrock as we get further and further into this matchup between The Rock and Ken Shamrock. And The Rock now back into the ring. And once Ken Shamrock gets into the zone and gets into his mode, he becomes that dangerous animal that everybody talks about, that dangerous beast. And that's not a version of Ken Shamrock you want, no matter who you are on the opposite side of the ring, no matter if this sport is in your blood, like it is in The Rock's, being a third-generation superstar. And Ken Shamrock exploding out of the corner. And Rocky blocking. And who is going to leave as the Intercontinental Champion? As Ken Shamrock's able to kick out at 2. And it was that cockiness at the beginning, right out the gate, that we saw from The Rock, making the gesture that he was going to leave as the Intercontinental Champion. But right now, it was Ken Shamrock. I was going to say it's Ken Shamrock who's starting to tee off on The Rock, but The Rock playing it cheap, raking the eyes of Ken Shamrock as he stomps in the midsection of one of the most dangerous men in sports entertainment. And now unloading, you hear the sound of the shots connecting. Driving the boot into the throat of Shamrock. And Mike Chioda, the referee, having to pull The Rock out of the corner. The last thing you want to do is get disqualified. And The Rock with a smirk on his face. These clubbing blows to The Rock. Shamrock starting to fight back. Is this Shamrock's time to fight back? But The Rock with a boot to the midsection stops that little bit of momentum that Ken Shamrock had going. And ducks under The Rock. Crossbody takes out The Rock. And a 2. And fisherman suplex and a bridge. And another near fall for Shamrock. But The Rock comes right back up with a clothesline. Takes down Shamrock. The Rock, a great defensive lineman for the University of Miami. But now The Rock is bringing the fight and bringing his size advantage to the World Wrestling Federation to continue the Anoa'i family tree, to continue the so-called bloodline. And The Rock. Oh, The Rock got back in the ring, but Ken Shamrock starting to tee off on The Rock again. You know, the problem is every time Shamrock gets a little bit of momentum, The Rock is able to counter. And once again, The Rock counters. The Rock connects with a DDT that takes down Shamrock, pulls the leg back. And another close fall there for The Rock. Every time Ken Shamrock gets a little bit of momentum, The Rock is able to turn things around. And the ref, Mike Chioda, asking if Shamrock wants to give it up. But The Rock is putting on the fight on Shamrock with his chin lock applied to one of the greatest Ultimate Fighters. The Rock doing everything he can to make sure that Ken Shamrock does not get that ankle lock applied. Because once the ankle lock is applied, it may be all over for The Rock. And another knockdown by The Rock. And The Rock pulling tighter on that chin lock. This is a tough situation for Ken Shamrock. This is not where you want to be if you're Shamrock right now. The Rock slowly making sure that Shamrock fades away. But Shamrock's starting to work back up to his feet. Shamrock was able to get back up to a vertical base. Oh, and again, The Rock looking to counter. But instead, a Northern Lights suplex. That Northern Lights suplex from Ken Shamrock, able to take down The Rock. And great takedown from Shamrock. That's exactly what Shamrock needed. Usually the last few times we saw Shamrock pick up some momentum in this match, it was The Rock, but third time's a charm for Shamrock, and he was able to counter The Rock's counter. And now, what a heavy right, and another one that knocks down The Rock. Could this be all the offense that Shamrock has needed to get back in this as The Rock goes down again? The Rock perhaps begging for mercy from Ken Shamrock. It might be a little bit too late for that one, Rocky. What a slam. Pulls the leg back. Will it be enough? But The Rock kicks out at 2.5. And now unloading as he's on top of The Rock. And Shamrock, a man possessed, screaming with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. The Rock sending Shamrock face first in the top turnbuckle, but Shamrock counters. Hurricane Rana takes down The Rock. The Rock could be finished for. And Kama and D'Lo. Uh-oh, D'Lo's caught. Oh, come on! Brass knucks, and he hides him in the waistband of Shamrock. in the tights. Not this way. Oh! But Shamrock kicks out. You gotta be kidding me. The Rock thought he had it won. But now they're in Shamrock's tights. Shamrock, belly to belly. 3, 1, 2. And he's done it. Shamrock's the Intercontinental Champion. Shamrock's done it. Ken Shamrock has done it. Ken Shamrock is your new Intercontinental Champion. And The Rock saying that he got his jaw jacked by Shamrock. What is... We have a new Intercontinental Champion. What's going on? What's he reach? He's saying he didn't do it. We saw it, but the ref didn't. Oh, come on. This is a very controversial decision. Oh, and Shamrock gonna take it out on Mike Chioda. Shamrock has snapped. Shamrock has snapped on the referee. That's what happens when you make the wrong decision. You don't want to. 2 more officials. The Rock had it all planned out when he decided to place the brass knucks and Shamrock's tights in the trunks of Shamrock. Shamrock was screwed out of the Intercontinental Championship by The Rock. This was a screw job. Shamrock didn't use the knucks. That's the story The Rock did, but then planted them on Shamrock. Shamrock rightfully furious about this decision.